So Bitcoin daily time frame is currently in an uptrend. Higher low and higher high. And consolidation is currently underway. We had a 4-hour bull flag that confirmed with zero follow through. And there's an uptrending resistance line to be keeping an eye on that we rejected just underneath on this entire bounce. And as far as the support line is concerned, not really as concerned with that, but we'll keep an eye on it if we bounce around that general area. So 4-hour bull flag confirmed with zero follow through, bear break of support, daily consolidation underway. So why the next couple of days are very key is we know that the current bounce that we are seeing on the weekly time frame is not enough to negate a bear flag being possible. The bounce rejected right off of the EMA resistance and our 382 fib retracement level. So we also have to be aware that the stock market right now has been operating in a euphoria all-time high bull market. If we see any fear in the stock market, it will translate into fear in cryptocurrency. So just be aware, and again, you want to watch what are the signs of fear in the stock market, and I talk about it all the time in those broader market videos I put out every day. So keep an eye on the stock market if you are trading cryptocurrency, because it will absolutely have an impact the next time fear hits the stock market. No sign of fear right now, but it happens out of nowhere very fast. So the next couple of days are so critical for Bitcoin because we are either going to keep pulling back towards our daily support of 34.6, or we are going to very quickly, wrong chart, or we're going to very quickly set a daily high or low and keep this bounce going and see a bull cross of the 12 and 26 EMA here. So if these bulls can change the 4-hour trend back in their favor in the next day or two, it's possible we keep this move going. We get over the 382 retracement. We make our way towards the 50% retracement, which would then begin to favor a weekly high or low the next time we consolidate. If this is the top of our bounce, the weekly chart absolutely favors the bears. So the last thing the bulls want to see is increasing bear volume and a loss of the daily high or lows. Either of those two things happening, red flag flashing due to the weak weekly bounce, and we can roll over again. So bulls have to keep proving it to us on the daily time frame. Currently on the 4-hour chart, anything under 40.5 thousand would just be a lower high next bounce. Hourly oversold bounce attempting to take place and not getting any follow through. 15-minute bounces with no trend changes at this point. So bulls just aren't proving a whole lot. They can turn around quickly and keep this daily consolidation brief and healthy. But again, we've got to do that. You know, if we see 2 more red days from here, definitely a red flag as far as the weekly time frame is concerned. With that, we've got our dominance chart still strong for Bitcoin. I'm watching the potential of this rising wedge, and there's a lot of falling wedges on 4-hour time frames for alt BTC pairings. But there's no sign of weakness here. The Bitcoin bulls are still completely in control on this entire move up. And for the most part, it's been completely in control while we go up and while we pull back as well, which is, again, a complete 180 of what we were seeing for months. For months, the alts pulled back faster than Bitcoin and went up faster than Bitcoin. Now we have Bitcoin going up faster than alts and pulling back less than alts. So it's not directly opposite, but it's a big shift. So we're watching that dominance chart closely, and we're watching the 4-hour uptrend on it closely. And we're only going to look at a few altcoins here because I've got to get going before the FOMC happens in 40 minutes here, 2 p.m. Eastern. ETH/USD, still weak. We are in a daily downtrend. The weekly time frame is looking like a weekly lower high is potentially being set. And actually, it's just been inside bar. And we are, no, I take that back. We already set a bear break. We already had a bear break of the higher low every week pattern. It's possible that we're heading back down to try and set a weekly higher low compared to the low. Again, Bitcoin already did that, and ETH may follow suit. So we had inside bars, and then we tested the low and it held. ETH, weekly inside bars. Maybe we're heading down to test the low. The daily downtrend is our guide. Anything under 2640 is just another lower high. And the only nearby supports are 2452 and 2182. And again, reviewing it from a 2-day time frame perspective for the equilibrium, that has been forming. And our lower high is now set. So this equilibrium, low, high, higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high, it is a very key support of 23, make that 22.59. I have a small ETH position before it became very clear that Bitcoin was the way, excuse me, Bitcoin was the way to go for the bulls. And we didn't break the support and my trade never triggered a stop. So I just got a Bitcoin position as opposed to exchanging ETH for Bitcoin. And it was small enough that I just kept holding it. But I will stop out if that level of 22.59 breaks bearish and we are heading towards that support. The ETH BTC chart is still weak. So in the last video, we talked about all these altcoin BTC pairings that are trying to form 3-day higher lows to keep a bigger picture equilibrium forming. And so far, very few alts are giving us any conviction that a higher low is being set yet. So here is ETH BTC down at the low. And the bulls are hoping it's a 4-hour falling wedge pattern, just like the alt bulls are hoping that that dominance chart is a 4-hour rising wedge pattern. So if this bear break of 62 sees a lack of follow through, the wedge will remain alive. And we've already seen a couple shorter term wedges break, which we'll look at in just a second. But the bulls have their backs against the wall. And if 62 cents, or I should say 6.2 cents breaks with any follow through, then the falling wedge is out the window. And the only hope is 5.5. LTC USD is a bit stronger. We're in a daily uptrend. Very big difference. Higher low and higher high. So if we condense the 2-day time frame for LTC to compare it, we had a tightening range break bear with no follow through, and then the bulls entered a daily uptrend. So anything above 154.23 is a daily higher low. That being said, the weekly chart still very weak at this point. The bulls have a lot of proving to do, and if we can't get over the highs of the initial bounces, bulls aren't proving much. But it's stronger than ETH, and the LTC BTC chart shows us that. The low from June 14th is holding. ETH BTC already broke that low that it had. So we're looking at this as a low, high of the bounce, higher low, lower high, and here we are testing support. If it breaks, the low of the pullback is in play. Altcoin bears looking great. And especially if Bitcoin is a weekly bear flag. Matic USDT is one of the stronger altcoins. Tons of space for a daily higher low. Daily consolidation is now underway. Big drop on the 4-hour time frame. So the bulls need a 4-hour trend change back in their favor for a daily higher low to form. Anything above 116. So plenty of space for that higher low. And the 3-day chart here on this equilibrium, we've got a high, low, lower high. Higher low has been set. Anything under 244 would just be a lower high. That lower high is potentially being set, but the tightening range is still continuing to form. And the biggest difference that separates it from other altcoins is its alt BTC pairing. We are days into a bounce, where most alt BTC pairings are not even close to a daily bounce being underway. So again, we want to distinguish what does a strong altcoin look like for bulls and what does a weak one look like. So here on Matic BTC, we have the 3-day equilibrium shaping up. Higher low is set. Now we scout the lower high, anything under 6072. So Matic is a stronger altcoin. XRP and Doge have been weaker altcoins. Daily equilibrium, key support test, but the BTC pairing, I was going to show you a falling wedge, it's trying to break bullish right now. The BTC pairing has been all bears for the last 2.5 weeks. That being said, there are still plays to be made on these weaker alts because we reach flex points where the bears run out of momentum and we see these wedges break bull. So right now, XRP BTC is trying to be an hourly falling wedge. Sushi BTC was a lead bear, and we had this hourly falling wedge break bull, and there was a bull trade to be had there. So just because it's a lead bear doesn't mean there's not bullish opportunity. In general, it's good to be scouting lead bulls bullish and lead bears bearish, but there are periods of time where that's different. And Sushi was an example of when that was different, when that bull break took place 2 days ago, And the XRP bulls are hoping the same thing's about to happen to help XRP USD set a daily higher low compared to 805 and remain in a daily equilibrium that we've been within for the last week and a half. And Doge BTC has been another lead bear. Does it have a falling wedge as well? Falling wedge-like pattern. So you could say it's breaking bull to a certain degree. Obviously, a lot of follow-through is needed. But if you're looking for just short-term day trade, keep an eye out for falling wedges on BTC pairings. So very curious over the next 6 to 12 hours whether this BTC pairing of XRP gets bull follow-through to help the daily chart remain in equilibrium. So FOMC, in 35 minutes, Bitcoin bulls need a daily higher low to form in the near term here. Because if we drop down and fall back under towards 37 and below, red flag for bulls. And my BTC chart, or I should say entry, I entered the last consolidation. I'm just going to be walking up my stop loss with these higher lows. And limited risk because I entered on this last consolidation. So just risking a small loss if I were to stop out at this point. And same thing for ETH. So keeping those losses small and keeping that risk small because I don't have confidence with where we stand right now for the bulls. And bears can be positioning themselves, have a game plan. If BTC is a weekly bear flag, how are you going to trade it? Are you going to focus on the weaker altcoins? Are you going to focus on the altcoins that have been in the middle of the road but then will lead bearish to the downside if they break some key support levels? Have a game pan for both scenarios. We'll be selling game pans. And game plan number 1, weekly bear flag. Game plan number 2, daily uptrend continues for Bitcoin with a bull break over 41.3 thousand. And again, the next 2 days will be very telling. How much consolidation do we see from that top? How close do we retrace back to that last daily higher low? And what does volume look like? Are the bears showing up with volume in their favor? Is there any fear in the stock market? Certainly not at the moment. Have to be watching out for that to strike, because when SPY looks like this, actually, we've been watching this rising wedge, and if it is a bearish reaction to the FOMC, that is a big rising wedge breaking bear. Have to keep a close eye on the FOMC reaction and what the dollar does in reaction to the FOMC. Hope you had a good day. Do good things. We'll check back in. Not confident in either direction. But the bulls have a daily uptrend in Bitcoin. That much is clear. Watching for some short-term bull trades on alt BTC pairings that have falling wedges shaping up. And watching the FOMC reaction. Have a good day. See you soon.